So for this video, we are kicking off my series of Master Mode tutorials, I guess we'll call it, even though they're not really a tutorial. They're just going to be demonstrations of how you beat each encounter, so that hopefully if you're watching these, you can get an idea of how you can do it yourself. Again, just like with my Follow the Dark Brotherhood ones, these do not represent the only way to beat these encounters. These are just the ways that I did it. So the idea is hopefully you kind of see the encounter in action, see what kind of deck I used, and you can build something similar to it or follow a similar strategy in order to beat it. So without further ado, we're going to dive right in. This is for Thornwell Farm, and we are playing an aggressive Crusader deck, as you can hopefully see on the screen here. This is very similar to what I used to call my Time to Fight deck that was on the ladder. However, we've made some changes because of the nature of the encounter. So first up, we have the surplus lane instead of the field lane. When you summon a creature here, you reduce the cost of a random card in your hand by 1. And that's actually going to be one of the reasons we include some of the cards that we do. We want to mulligan these because we want 1 and 2 drops as much as possible. So looking at the deck list, you may notice some interesting choices. We are not running, for example, Ulfric's Housecarl or Crusader's Assault, because the truth is, we don't really need card draw. This encounter also features a support, and this support says at the end of each player's turn, if they have no cards in hand, they draw 3 cards. So we're kind of banking, hopefully, on triggering this in place of the Housecarl or in place of Crusader's Assault, so we don't need to run them. Instead, we run more cheap threats, more aggressive cards, or cards like Marked Man, which might look like a weird include in this list because it doesn't have Northwind Outpost energy. But because of the surplus lane, we'll go ahead and play a card so we can get this moving. Because of the surplus lane, Marked Man is actually ramp. You can play him there for 1, and then by playing him, he reduces the cost of a card by 1. And then when you play the O2 guard there, it reduces the cost of another card. So it's actually a really, at least in my opinion, interesting choice. We're going to go ahead and take control of this surplus lane as best we can.
I'm ready for anything.
By getting rid of that. This could be a problem, so we are going to have to potentially get our race on.
Do not vex me.
And we're getting most of the high part of our curve with these like 2 and 3 drops, which is a little bit of a bummer. There we go. These are the kinds of cards we were looking for. So let's do this first. See what this reduces for us. Let's do this and hope that we hit the outpost as well. And we did.
Come and warm
you may notice this is a 3-cost outpost, so this is post-balance patch.
Gore and glory.
Alright. So by taking control of the surplus lane, even though he's a little bit ahead on attacking, we're going to be able to speed out more cards, and that's a big benefit to us. So, see, Descendant of Alkosh is another include just because, again, we're not running card draw and we want cheap things to flood over here. In case you were wondering. Before we decide what to do, let's go ahead and see how much damage we can force in. So we got a lot of potential damage sitting here.
Gore and glory. Come at me.
So this could do as much as 6 if we played the Gatekeeper. Gatekeeper on this means 6, but then because of the rune break makes it 7, which would then take us to this rune break, which would be 8, and put him at 4. And then the Afflict could actually put him as low as 2, which is interesting. This is also potentially worth some as well. We actually might go with the raiding party because of the gamble on reduction. So let's go ahead and do that. So this costs us 3. But if we do this, right?
Time to fight.
we get some reductions, but we also get this whack here. And this here. Didn't matter because he didn't hit prophecies. I was mostly just thinking that if they also hit prophecies with some clever reductions, and we did get them, then we would also get this as a trigger, right? So, and we could even play this to potentially get like this as a trigger as well. Doesn't matter. We do get the victory here because they did not hit a prophecy, but even if they did, I think we had an out. And that's the encounter. Take control of the surplus lane, use your cheap threats. Most of yours have charge and your opponent's does not, so that's usually how you come out ahead in terms of the race. And easy peasy victory.